create a scenario for you. It's been a long day and you've just got off work. You're driving down a long dark road when suddenly someone frantically flags you down. You slow down and pull up next to them to see if they are in need of assistance. Although you can't quite make out their figure, you suddenly realize that you're being held at gunpoint. The person robs you of most of your belongings and takes your car. The criminal also sported a mask and a black hoodie so you couldn't make out their facial features. You call the police and explain to them what happened. The next day, your car and what's left of your personal belongings have been found and returned to you. But how could this be? And how so quickly? The answer to this question is fairly simple. With all of the technological advancements made to the police force, the officers will be able to scan the license plates of multiple cars at the same time until they found the one that was reported stolen. But what would have happened if this scenario wasn't in our technological era? What would have happened if the situation took place 35 years ago? What would have happened then? This question is much more complex, and the officers would have had to do a lot more work to figure out just exactly how they'd find your belongings. It shows just how much technology has changed over the course of history. Nearly 35 years ago, the only technology officers needed was the police radio and the location of the nearest payphone. Today, police radios can scan 30 channels, and an officer typically has an in-car video camera, traffic monitor radar unit, an in-car computer data terminal with internet access, body cameras, a department-issued cell phone, and of course their own personal cell phone. Advances in technology have been a mixed blessing for contemporary agencies. Take the explosive spread of internet access over the last 2 decades, for example. On one hand, everyday technology like social media and other applications are a boon to law enforcement, but they also have made it possible for gangs and even terrorist organizations to coordinate like never before, creating an entirely new digital space that needs policing. However, social media is far from the only technology that has drawn concern for police. Many in the law enforcement community have particularly cited a mobile app called Waze, a traffic tracking tool that displays the current location of police officers as potentially allowing those with criminal intent to avoid or seek out and harm law enforcement personnel. While this is certainly complicating the work of keeping public safe, criminals using the internet often leave a trail behind. With the proper knowledge and tools on their side, law enforcement technicians can use this expansive channel of communications against potential or suspected criminal offenders. The internet has become a broad web of shared personal information that remains permissible as evidence when attained legally, creating an organic database of recorded behaviors that can provide unique insight to each case. When analyzed, this data can even be useful in identifying criminal patterns and anticipating threats. Though having this much technology seems amazing, the government still believes that it isn't enough. For example, new tools and devices are being created that will completely change some of the ways that our police force operates. Devices such as tracking darts stored in the front bumpers of squad cars that can be launched at a suspect's vehicle in a police chase. There are surveillance drones that allow officers to get a good look inside of an area before entering. There's even a device that allows a certain member of the police force to see and recreate an entire crime scene using 3D imaging. At least Dubai has already created and put to use their own RoboCops, so as the future of our government. So far it's looking fairly interesting, and to many all of this may be scary. However, there are new questions that will be asked, such as, can we really trust a machine with no feelings to do our dirty work? What will police cars look like in the future? And do we really ever have privacy?